So hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to talk about why your feelings matter, why your feelings are valid, and how that's really going to change your life when you understand that. Before we talk about it, before we jump into it, I just want to introduce myself if you do not know who I am. My name is Amber Turner, and I am the author of You Choose Your Outfit. I'm also the new author of 365 Ways or Beliefs to Glow Up. And so it's a transformational journal for every day. And so it has prompted beliefs for every day to help transform your belief system, which is a great segue into what I want to talk about in this video. And so I posted on my Instagram account today just the words, how you feel matters. Yes, that's it. How you feel matters. And I want to dive into this concept of why your feelings matter, why your feelings are valid, and the importance of it, and how it can really transform your life when you really understand why it's so important. And so this concept really can change your life if you really let it sink in. So I actually wrote some notes, which I don't typically do, but I really wanted to drive the point home with this video because it's so important. Now, I want to talk about why I even wrote that how you feel matters. Is that sometimes in life, if this is your reality, people might disregard how you feel and your feelings. And that's just the truth of it. Sometimes that happens if that's your reality. So knowing what we know about manifestation and our belief system is definitely a reflection of what we see in our reality. So knowing this, and this is where I was at, because I had to turn inward and actually look at myself and say, why are people disregarding my feelings and how I feel? Like my being and my feelings do not matter. So I had to turn inward because I know that my belief system is being reflected back to me in my outward reality. So it's being reflected back to me. So if that is the case for me, or for anyone else that's having to contend with people that might, let's talk about how this looks. When people disregard your feelings, they act like you don't matter, that your feelings aren't valid. What does this look like in our life? Let's start there. And I think that's important to start there. Typically, especially when it's in relationships, it looks like cheating. It looks like being violated. It looks like abuse. It looks like verbal abuse, physical abuse, all of these things, like no regard to you and your feelings and how you feel. That's what those things look like. And even if you confront the person about certain things that have occurred and how that might make you feel, and they disregard you and your feelings, that's what this is about. But I want to just drive the point home that your feelings do matter, no matter what other people tell you, how people might say this is how it's always been, or this happens to a lot of other people, like disregarding how you might feel about it. Whatever people might say to disregard you and make you feel like your feelings aren't valid, your feelings do matter at the end of the day. Your being, your existence, how you feel, and you matter. Because that's what it boils down to. Like, you matter. Your feelings matter. And I just want to be clear about that. And so what happens is that, like I said, our belief system and how we feel about ourselves is being reflected to us. And so if someone someone is disregarding your feelings, what is your belief system when that happens? And typically it's that you don't feel worthy. You don't feel deserving. Which is hard because, especially in a case where people are just have no regard to how you feel and make you feel like you're crazy for feeling hurt, feeling abused, feeling violated. If they make you feel crazy about that, you automatically want to play the victim or be the victim, which you are essentially. But if we're going to be a powerful being in this, we have to say, well, what is it about me that's making them treat me this way, disregard my feelings and stuff like that? And this is a hard thing to navigate and talk about, because even for me, I was in a position where I felt like the victim. I'm like, I couldn't believe that people couldn't understand that my hurt and my feelings didn't matter. And I was there for a long time. But then I had to be like, you know what, Amber, you know this, that your belief system is being reflected to you. So if these people are reflecting that your feelings don't matter, so what is that saying? What is that saying that you feel about yourself? That you're unworthy, that you feel that you're unworthy and you're not deserving. And so let's just start there. If that's your reality and it's being reflected back to you, then it's saying that your belief system, what you believe for yourself, is that you don't feel worthy. I mean, essentially. And so, like I said, this is a challenging thing to navigate. But it took me to come to that realization to be like, okay, I see, I understand, but how can I change it? And so now I want to talk about, okay, if that's your reality, that's being reflected to you, what does it look like in changing that pattern? Because essentially it's a belief system, it's a pattern. How can you eradicate and break up that pattern that's reflecting to you that you essentially don't matter, that your feelings aren't valid, that your feelings don't matter? So that's what I want to talk about. I'm looking down at my notes because I think this is really, really important, because it's important. It really can transform your life when you really truly understand this and look at that pattern. If it's a pattern that keeps showing up in your life where people are just disregarding your feelings, like you're less than a human being, then we have to look at that. If the same thing keeps showing up in your life, the common denominator is you. And so we need to look at that. Not that they should be excused for that behavior, but we need to look at that and what does it say about you so you can take your power back and change it. And so when you understand that, it's about, now at this point, it's about breaking up the pattern. So how do we break that pattern of, unworthiness and not feeling deserving? So we put ourselves, and it's like this acting as if I want to talk about this too. This video might be all over the place. I hope not. But a lot of reasons why we stay in situations that keep showing up, or we stay in a situation where we're being reflected that our feelings don't matter, that our feelings aren't valid, those kind of things. If we stay in a situation, typically it's because we're up in our head. We're using logic to rationalize behaviors and things that keep showing up in our existence. We're rationalizing, well, I shouldn't stand up for myself because of this. I shouldn't, do this because of whatever the case is for you. And so we rationalize because we're in our heads. Now, this is where feminine energy comes into play. And this is very, very important, because feminine energy is about being in our bodies, being in our feelings and our emotions, and actually understanding what we're feeling and why we feel those things, and that intuition. Because when we're in our emotions, when we feel like, okay, this isn't right, then we know it's not right. But when we're in our masculine energy, we're typically in our heads and we're using logic to rationalize, and that's not being in our emotion body, where it's telling us this doesn't feel right. And so when we can get to a place where we understand that this doesn't feel right, then that's the point that we can really change it, because this, your heart space will never steer you wrong. You know how you feel. And this is where, what I was saying in the beginning, your feelings do matter. And we often go into our heads and use logic to rationalize of why this happened, why we should stay, why we should continue putting up with certain behaviors, because we're in our head. But that logic, I'm telling you, will keep you on a hamster wheel, and you will not move forward in your life. And when you're not moving forward in your life, you are taking a step back, because life is progressive. Life will continue on even if you don't. Even if you don't. So you're actually taking steps back if you don't move forward in your life, and progressing in your life. So, yeah, so I want to just say that, like, that's typically what that looks like. So how does it look in changing that pattern? And start stepping into worthiness. Start stepping into feeling deserving of a beautiful life. Knowing that your feelings are valid, that your feelings matter, and that you matter. That you're worthy. How does that look when we start stepping into that and start changing that pattern, that belief system, into worthiness? That looks like standing up for yourself, not staying in situations. Because if I felt like I was worthy, would I stay? If I felt like I was worthy, would I just continue to allow people to just do things to me? Would I continue to allow certain behaviors? Would I allow things just to just happen? You have to be in a mindset of, like, if I really felt worthy, how would I act? How would I move forward? How would I move in my life if I felt worthy? Because me continuing to stay and acting like I don't matter, like my feelings don't matter, continuing to put up with certain behaviors, feeling violated, and just continuing with that's not worthiness, that's unworthiness. So what would someone that felt worthy and deserving, how would they act? How would they move through this simulation, this life? And then we start stepping into that and start acting like that, acting like we're worthy, and knowing that we're worthy of having our feelings validated. Knowing that our feelings do matter. And so it's a matter of, like, shifting that pattern and changing your belief system and start acting like it. Because people, if it's being reflected, because there's typically, when you start changing your belief system, it doesn't typically change overnight. So people are going to still continue to act like your feelings don't matter, the things that you go through, you being violated, all this stuff doesn't matter. They'll try to convince you of that. But stay strong in your worthiness. Stay strong in your worthiness and how you feel. And if those things, because that's where, and again, feminine energy is going to help you navigate through life when you're in your heart space and you're in that feeling, and you know, oh, I'm getting a call, and really, hold on, feeling the spirit, that doesn't feel right. That's where, I don't even know where the phone call messed me up. When it doesn't feel right, that's going to give you direction. Because your feelings do matter. No matter what anyone says. And so if we look at what's being reflected back to us, this is where your belief system will, your reality that's being reflected back to you is showing you something about your belief system. And so taking these clues is going to help you heal those certain aspects of your life. And that's going to change your outward experience, your outward reality. So as much as like, you know, we feel like people are doing things to us, you know, it's important for us to take a look at that. Okay, this is what's showing up to me. This is what's being reflected back to me. What is it saying about me and my belief system and how I view myself? And then how can I change that? That's important. And so when you start healing those aspects, when you start changing that belief system, you start doing the healing, then certain people, incredible things will start showing up in your existence. So your feelings do matter. It's all in the feeling. Your feelings, your emotions will tell you so much, but you have to be here. And that's hard for a lot of people. You have to be in touch with your feminine energy, your heart space, how you feel, how things are making you feel. That is feedback for you to take a look at this is not what I want to feel. And how can I change that? It's so powerful when you can get there and understand how you feel. I see so much, especially with some of my clients, is that they don't really know how they're feeling because we're up here, we're up in our heads, you know. And I'm telling you, if you stay in your heads, if you use logic to rationalize certain behaviors and why things are the way that they are, instead of by going with your heart and how you feel, you're going to be on a hamster wheel, encountering the same thing over and over and over again. And so again, coming back to your heart and know that your feelings matter. Your feelings matter. Your feelings are valid. Use that as your power. But anyways, you guys, that is all for this video. I really wanted to share that. I think it's important. I see this a lot where feelings are disregarded. Their hurt is disregarded. You know, their feeling disrespected is disregarded. All of these things are disregarded. But again, what is that telling you? How can you change that? You know, take your power back. Anyways, you guys, that is all for this video. I just wanted to share that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will check you guys in the next video. Peace.